Shu Qing entered the house and found the bizarre fiend race cultivator lying there with all the flesh stripped from his body, leaving only his intact head and skeleton. He was still alive, supported by a red light flowing through his bones, clearly kept alive by Chen Feiyuan's special method. Shu Qing pressed his hand against his forehead and activated Golden Crow Refines All Life, absorbing the remaining origin power into his body. The bizarre fiend cultivator died immediately afterward. At the same time, outside the Purple Earth Imperial capital, a middle-aged man crawled out of a mass grave. This was another body of the supposedly undying bizarre fiend cultivator. He had prepared this body beforehand and allowed it to sleep until now, and it could fully display his three fires cultivation. He had originally been unwilling to use it because its destruction would affect him, but he had no choice. He was terrified of remaining in Purple Earth City because Shu Qing and the bizarre entity pursuing him made him feel unprecedented danger. Since the bizarre entity was somewhat similar to him, he could understand the fear of those he had assassinated and realized that the entity seemed to be everywhere. After fleeing far from the city, he believed he could finally escape, so he activated his life fires and entered Mystic Brilliance form to increase his speed. However, only 5 minutes later, he sensed a terrifying rainbow approaching from behind. Shu Qing appeared in the form of a middle-aged man, his aura seemingly surpassing 3 fires. The bizarre fiend realized that Shu Qing possessed 4 fires combat strength. Shu Qing had reached this level because his life lantern allowed him to possess 2 fires combat strength after forming 1 life fire, 3 fires combat strength after forming his second life fire, and Golden Crow Refines All Life further enhanced him to a level comparable to 4 fires. Moreover, Shu Qing no longer needed the shadow to track the bizarre fiend. The origin source absorbed by Golden Crow Refines All Life had fused into his body, allowing him to perceive the bizarre fiend like a torch in the darkness the instant it revived. Shu Qing rapidly caught up and attacked. He struck the bizarre fiend into the ground, kicked his chest, stabbed him repeatedly with a dagger, ripped off his right arm, and smashed his forehead. The 3 fires cultivator had no ability to resist and was filled with horror and despair. When he attempted to detonate his life fires, the shadow had already fused into his body and attacked the 3 life fireballs, extinguishing them instantly. The destruction of his Mystic Brilliance form caused severe backlash and many of his magic apertures to collapse. As he lay horribly mangled, he tried to kill himself by striking his forehead with his remaining left hand. But Shu Qing's black iron stick pierced through that hand. The Golden Crow then appeared and devoured his qi, blood, and origin power. Shu Qing subsequently pierced his fingers into the bizarre fiend's eyes and destroyed his head. Before dying, he heard Shu Qing calmly tell him not to give him the answer he wanted too quickly because he still wanted to play several more times and would see him again soon. The bizarre fiend then continued reviving through various hosts in the wilderness outside Purple Earth City. A rabbit tried to flee, but a vulture attacked it and killed it. A snake hiding beneath a withered tree was pierced by the black iron stick. An eagle was devoured by the golden crow. Similar scenes continued as the bizarre fiend repeatedly changed hosts in an attempt to escape. But Shu Qing, the black iron stick, the golden crow, and creatures already parasitized by him continued to find and kill him. The repeated deaths pushed his mind toward collapse and gradually exhausted him. More importantly, every time Shu Qing killed him, he felt that something important was being lost. When he revived inside a coyote, he discovered that he could not immediately fuse with the host because of an obstruction. He realized in horror that Shu Qing was absorbing his talent. When Shu Qing caught the coyote and prepared to absorb and refine him, the bizarre fiend claimed that he would completely die within 3 more deaths at most and warned that Shu Qing would never find the mastermind if he died. Shu Qing ignored him and struck the coyote, causing it to collapse while the golden crow absorbed the wisp of origin energy released before its death. 30 breaths later, the bizarre fiend revived as a crow and revealed that he could sense Shu Qing's cultivation technique and knew he was from 7 Blood Eyes. He offered to reveal the mastermind but demanded to meet Lord Sixth and said he would only tell him. The black iron stick immediately pierced the crow, killing it. Shu Qing then sensed the surrounding area and stomped the ground, splitting it open and revealing a pangolin hiding underneath. The pangolin also refused to reveal the answer, insisting that Shu Qing kill it and claiming that he would only tell Lord Sixth the mastermind's identity. Shu Qing repeatedly slapped it until he stopped and stared at it coldly. Afterward, He grabbed the pangolin and headed toward the teleportation point that the captain had personally opened for him. Xu Qing arrived at a valley containing an abandoned teleportation array, stood on it, pressed his identity token, and waited. When the array activated, the pangolin suddenly withered and died. At the same time, the teleportation array indicated that someone had already teleported away before Xu Qing. The bizarre fiend had clearly prepared a trap and used the teleportation array to escape. He had also used an unknown method to blur the destination of his teleportation, preventing outsiders from determining where he had gone. After the teleportation light disappeared, Xu Qing remained in the valley without showing surprise or anger. He calmly threw away the pangolin's corpse, closed his eyes, and sensed the situation. After a moment, he opened his eyes with a deep glint and said, "I'm in a hurry. I hope you can meet the person you're meeting soon." A teleportation array near the edge of the Forbidden Sea, not far from the Seven Blood Eyes, suddenly activated. A wisp of fog condensed into the figure of a middle-aged man from the bizarre fiend race. After destroying the array, he laughed smugly, believing that he had successfully escaped Xu Qing. He had deliberately allowed himself to be captured earlier so that he could use the teleportation array and the secret art given to him by his employer. He had memorized the second volume of the Lunar Chosen Transformation Pill and intended to trade the formula only after receiving the promised reward. However, Xu Qing had intentionally let him escape. Xu Qing did not believe his claim that he wanted to meet Lord Sixth, since the bizarre fiend had endured torture and death without revealing anything. Xu Qing decided to make him believe he was safe so that he would lead Xu Qing to the mastermind behind him. An eye had already opened in the bizarre fiend's shadow. Xu Qing had previously determined that the shadow's perception range was extremely large. So although the vision was somewhat blurry at a distance, knowing the direction was sufficient. Xu Qing activated another nearby teleportation array and followed. The bizarre fiend remained extremely cautious. He traveled randomly throughout the night, repeatedly checking whether anyone was following him. Eventually, he reached the coast and called toward a merchant ship, claiming that he had obtained what the other party wanted. After waiting for some time, he deliberately changed direction again to ensure that he was truly safe. At dawn, he entered the sea and transferred his consciousness into a swordfish. Although he repeatedly changed bodies, including 7 or 8 different sea beasts, the shadow eye remained parasitized within him. The shadow's strangeness far surpassed that of the bizarre fiend and was essentially its natural enemy. The shadow briefly thought that it might be particularly compatible with the bizarre fiend race, but immediately rejected the idea, considering the bizarre fiends nothing more than food. Remembering the torture inflicted by Xu Qing, it became frightened and continued diligently observing the surroundings while guiding Xu Qing. The bizarre fiend eventually possessed a starfish. The waves carried it to a black beach within the territory of the Seven Blood Eyes. At dawn, 4 figures in completely covering black Taoist robes approached. Their appearances, races, genders, and cultivation fluctuations were all concealed. They used a method that blocked the senses of formations and prevented divine sense from locking onto them. Seemingly an innate racial ability rather than a magic artifact. 3 of the 4 figures spread out and placed circular discs on the ground to inspect the surroundings. After completing their examination, they respectfully stood behind the leading figure. A strand of blue hair was revealed when the wind lifted the leader's hood. A clear female voice said, "You're late." The starfish replied that he had nearly been killed in Purple Earth and complained that he had encountered someone far more bizarre than himself. The woman explained that the incident had exceeded their expectations and promised to compensate him, then demanded the item he had obtained. The woman was the princess of the starfish race, who had previously visited the Seven Blood Eyes. When she first met Xu Qing at Port 176, she had given him a conch and later visited him repeatedly. Although she had appeared innocent and openly admired Xu Qing, her numerous questions had actually been probing his personality and habits, allowing her to prepare ways to target him in the future. The bizarre fiend refused to hand over the item immediately, since they had secretly captured many heavens chosen from various races over the years and should already possess many of the necessary main ingredients. He demanded that they change their promised reward and give him a lunar chosen transformation pill as well. One of the starfish race cultivators warned the princess that they could not delay much longer because the elder's power was becoming increasingly limited, making it difficult to continue hiding from the formation. The princess said the reward could only be given after they returned to their territory and invited the bizarre fiend to accompany them. Just as she was about to pick up the starfish, Shu Qing's cold, murderous voice suddenly rang out, "So it's you." The starfish immediately trembled and self-destructed, choosing suicide. The princess and the other 3 starfish race cultivators rapidly retreated and released their cultivation bases to protect her. Shu Qing then arrived like thunder. He no longer concealed himself as the middle-aged man and instead appeared in his true form. A terrifying sea of fire erupted from his body, illuminating the dark dawn. The enormous mosasaur appeared beneath his feet, while the golden crow spread its black-tail flames behind him. Shu Qing unleashed all the killing intent he had suppressed until then and charged directly at the 4 starfish race cultivators. The princess recognized him as Shu Qing, but it was already too late. Shu Qing instantly reached them and struck with his palm. The earth exploded beneath the impact, forming a massive pit, while the 4 starfish cultivators vomited blood. One cultivator blocked Shu Qing's attack and was shattered by his overwhelming power. His remains were absorbed by the golden crow, while Shu Qing captured his soul and suppressed it inside his magic aperture, burning it rather than using it as fuel to open another magic aperture. The remaining 3 starfish race cultivators were horrified. They immediately unleashed their cultivation bases. The princess possessed 3 life fires, while the other 2 possessed 2 life fires each. Yet their cultivation was completely ineffective against Shu Qing's overwhelming killing intent, and the life fires within their bodies trembled violently beneath the storm of Shu Qing's boundless rage. Shu Qing had suppressed his killing intent for a long time after learning that Grandmaster Bai had been assassinated. From that moment, it felt as though a sharp blade had been violently tearing through his body, constantly urging him to kill everyone involved. However, he had forcefully restrained himself and maintained his calm because he knew that Purple Earth was dangerous and that even after finding the murderer, he could not simply kill him. He needed to torture the bizarre fiend and use him to uncover the mastermind behind Grandmaster Bai's assassination. After finally finding the mastermind, Shu Qing could no longer suppress the killing intent that had accumulated within him. He immediately appeared before a female cultivator of the starfish race. As he approached, the 2 life fires within her body trembled violently. But before they could extinguish, Shu Qing thrust his right hand through her abdomen, seized one of her life fires, and crushed it with terrifying hatred. He then grabbed the other life fire and directly pulled both out, causing blood to spray everywhere and destroying all the magic apertures in her body. Her screams weakened as she bled from her 7 orifices. But Shu Qing's violence did not stop. He smashed his forehead into hers, causing her beautiful face and skull to explode. Covered in blood, Shu Qing then turned toward the remaining starfish race members, especially their princess. The golden crow attempted to absorb the corpse but gained little, so it also turned its attention toward the princess with a savage expression. Under the moonlight, Shu Qing and the golden crow radiated an overwhelming baleful aura, making them resemble a ferocious god and a peerless beast. The starfish race princess was terrified, but before she could say anything, her remaining Dao protector suddenly rushed forward and told her to escape. He burned his life fires and activated all his magic apertures, preparing to self-destruct. At the same time, he activated 3 discs that had been arranged around the area. The discs released terrifying lightning that formed a large net in the air and descended toward Shu Qing to suppress and restrain him. Taking advantage of this, the princess gritted her teeth and fled toward the sea, knowing that she could no longer return to the 7 blood eyes and had to escape immediately. However, just as she was about to enter the sea, a huge sea turtle suddenly rushed out from beneath the water and attacked her. Its eyes were filled with fear and despair, yet it still bit toward her. Shu Qing's black iron stick also shot out at the same time, forming black lightning as it flew directly toward the princess. The turtle and princess collided, while the black iron stick struck her as well. Meanwhile, the lightning net created by the 3 discs was about to descend on Shu Qing. But the golden crow refines all life suddenly erupted with terrifying power. The golden crow cried toward the sky and surged upward, its enormous body, phoenix-like tail, and black flames forming the shape of a bow. It collided directly with the lightning net and shattered it almost instantly. The 3 discs also broke apart, proving completely incapable of stopping Shu Qing. At this moment, Shu Qing's combat strength had reached a level comparable to 4 life fires. So a cultivator with only 2 life fires could not harm him even with a magic artifact. Shu Qing then appeared directly before the starfish race Dao protector, who was still trying to self-destruct. He pressed his palm against the cultivator's forehead and fiercely inhaled. Fiendish fire erupted as the man's soul was forcibly pulled out of his body. The pain of having his soul extracted alive caused him to scream sharply while his body trembled violently. At the same time, the golden crow absorbed from the air, drawing out his qi and blood through his 7 orifices. In only 2 breaths, his soul and qi and blood were completely extracted, leaving behind a dried corpse that fell to the ground, shattered, and turned into ashes. The Starfish race princess was left pale with terror after watching her clansmen die one after another. As Xu Qing approached her with an overwhelming killing aura, she recalled his previous battle against the black-clothed girl from Donghua Island. The recent spread of the homicide department's reputation throughout the 7 Blood Eyes, and her earlier encounters with Xu Qing. These memories combined into an indescribable fear. She wanted to retreat, but it was already too late. She had lost control of her body and mind, allowing the Diamond Sect's ancestor to pierce through her abdomen and quickly return to pierce her again. The sea turtle beside her also opened its mouth and tore off one of her arms. As it chewed, madness appeared on its face, but its eyes contained deep fear and a hint of pleading. The sea turtle was actually the bizarre fiend cultivator. After Xu Qing had killed his previous body, he had revived inside this sea turtle beneath the sea. He originally intended to escape, but he soon realized that he had completely lost control of his body. He recognized this terrifying feeling and could only watch helplessly as the sea turtle moved toward the shore. The princess, whose abdomen had been repeatedly pierced and whose mind was close to collapsing, begged Xu Qing and tried to explain that she had her reasons. Before she could finish, Xu Qing approached and slapped her across the face. The right side of her face immediately swelled. Her teeth broke, cracks appeared in her skull, and 2 of her life fires were extinguished. Before she could recover, Xu Qing slapped her again, swelling the left side of her face and causing severe bleeding from her gums. Her skull seemed ready to collapse, and her final life fire was also extinguished. Xu Qing then kicked the wound in her abdomen, sending her body flying and causing all her remaining magic apertures to shatter. Her cultivation was completely crippled. The pain was so intense that she wanted to faint. But Xu Qing immediately forced a pill into her mouth to keep her alive and prevent her from losing consciousness. She could only continue screaming while enduring the pain. Her expression gradually became distorted, and when she tried to speak again, Xu Qing punched her mouth, smashing it into a bloody mess. Xu Qing then summoned the mosasaur, which opened its mouth and swallowed the sea turtle in a single bite. He grabbed the Starfish race princess by the leg and dragged her toward the sect. The sand and gravel tore into her flesh like sharp blades, adding countless wounds to the injuries caused by the collapse of her magic apertures. Her screams became increasingly inhuman as Xu Qing continued walking, leaving a long and shocking blood trail behind him. Eventually, her screams weakened as Xu Qing reached the range of the 7 Blood Eyes Array formation. Seeing the majestic city in the distance, he expressionlessly identified himself as Xu Qing, the director of the 7th Peak's Homicide Department, and reported that the Starfish race had rebelled. He requested that the sect immediately activate its array formation to suppress all Starfish race members within the 7 Blood Eyes, prevent them from teleporting or escaping, and stop them from transmitting any messages to the outside world. The array formation immediately rumbled as it recognized and screened Xu Qing. An aged voice from the 6th Peak then responded with a single word: permitted. The 7 Blood Eyes array formation activated at once and began suppressing the Starfish race. Several figures also flew out from the sect toward Xu Qing. Lord Sixth was the fastest. He walked out from the 6th Peak and crossed the distance almost instantly, arriving before Xu Qing with the powerful aura of a nascent soul cultivator. Lord Sixth asked Xu Qing what he had discovered. Xu Qing endured the pressure from his cultivation, cupped his fists, and replied that Lord Sixth would know after searching the princess's soul. He then threw the Starfish race princess behind him toward Lord Sixth. Lord Sixth did not hesitate. He placed his right hand against the princess's forehead and immediately began searching her soul. Not long afterward, the captain and the others also arrived. Seeing Lord Sixth searching the princess's soul, they became solemn and silently waited beside Xu Qing. The captain looked at the princess screaming in agony and then at Xu Qing, whose expression remained cold and whose murderous aura had yet to dissipate. He patted Xu Qing on the shoulder and told him that he would shoulder this matter together with him. Xu Qing had suppressed his killing intent for a long time. But after hearing the captain's words about life, he fell silent. The captain told him that life contained bitterness, sweetness, sorrow, and joy, and that no one could force it to have only one color. He understood Xu Qing's grief and desire to kill, and encouraged him to follow his heart and walk his own path. Xu Qing was reminded of Captain Lei and Grandmaster Bai, who had once spoken to him similarly. He then nodded seriously and waited for Lord Sixth's soul search. Xu Qing handed Lord Sixth only the Starfish race princess, keeping the bizarre fiend because he had not tortured it enough and because it knew too much about him. The princess's information was sufficient now that the mastermind had been identified. During the soul search, Lord Sixth became increasingly furious and grief-stricken. After discovering a crucial memory, he caused the princess's body to explode, extracted her soul, and swallowed it. He then activated the 7 Blood Eyes Array formation, which seized more than 200 Starfish race cultivators from the main city, including 3 Golden Core cultivators. Many died from the force of being dragged away. Lord Sixth then devoured all of their souls, treating Golden Core, Foundation Building, and Qi Condensation cultivators alike. After obtaining all the information, Lord Sixth's killing intent became overwhelming. He told Xu Qing that he owed him a favor and that if Old Seventh did not accept Xu Qing as a disciple, he would personally take Xu Qing as his disciple. Lord Sixth then used a special blue voice transmission jade slip to contact Old Master Seventh. He explained that the investigation had revealed the truth. Many years ago, the Starfish race had obtained the first volume of the Lunar Chosen Transformation Pill formula. They secretly captured heavens chosen from various races over the years, and Lord Sixth's son had been among their victims. Their main medicine had already taken shape, but they lacked the second volume, which led to Grandmaster Bai's assassination. The Starfish race's recent appearance at the 7 Blood Eyes had been intended to secretly provide support. Although the Starfish race patriarch had personally ordered the capture of Heavens Chosen and the acquisition of the second volume from Grandmaster Bai, Lord Sixth believed there was another secret behind the matter. The Starfish race was too weak, lacking even a nascent soul cultivator, so it should not have possessed the ability or courage to carry out such a carefully planned operation without another force or secret involved. Xu Qing's killing intent surged when he heard that the Starfish race patriarch was responsible. He wanted to kill the patriarch himself. Old Master Seventh replied that the Starfish race had betrayed the alliance and should be exterminated immediately. But he could not return. Lord Sixth then asked the ancestor for permission to act freely, saying that he had suppressed his emotions for many years and now wanted to kill. After roughly 10 breaths, the ancestor's voice came through the jade slip. He told Lord Sixth that they had suffered enough over the years and ordered him to exterminate the Starfish race. Lord Sixth respectfully accepted the decree, his killing intent erupting alongside Xu Qing's. Lord Sixth then summoned the entire 6th peak. The enormous mountain rose into the sky, shaking the surroundings with an earth-shattering roar. Its cave abodes opened, and numerous 6th peak disciples emerged, including many Golden Core and Foundation building cultivators. Although most 6th peak disciples were fighting the Sea-Corpse race, the peak still possessed abundant magical artifacts and puppets. Thousands of puppets flew out, while large-scale war artifacts were activated. The 6th peak transformed into a terrifying war fortress floating in the sky, radiating immense power and pressure. When Lord Sixth approached, the entire mountain trembled, and the thousands of puppets and the Golden Core and Foundation building disciples guarding it knelt and greeted him as their peak lord. The captain was shocked by the scene. He recalled that Old Master Seventh had once said Lord Sixth had been a Heavens Chosen equal to him, but had spent years immersed in grief and supposedly had no mood to cultivate. Seeing the refined 6th peak and its immense military power, the captain realized that Lord Sixth had actually refined the entire peak into something unprecedented. Lord Sixth then gave Xu Qing a blue gem pendant from his wine gourd. It possessed astonishing defensive power and provided nascent soul-level protection. He also instructed Xu Qing to retrieve the ancestors' calligraphy, whose words contained divine power. With the ancestors' words and Lord Sixth's protection, Xu Qing was to accompany him to the Starfish race and kill as much as he wished. Lord Sixth declared that the two of them would vent the emotions they had suppressed for so long. Xu Qing's killing intent was already extremely dense. He wanted to kill the Starfish race members, kill their patriarch, and shed enough blood to relieve the hatred in his heart. He believed that otherwise, there would not be enough people to accompany his teacher in death. Xu Qing accepted Lord Sixth's decree and went to retrieve the ancestors' calligraphy from the museum. After receiving it from the two Golden Core elders, he returned to the sixth peak, where the captain was waiting. Xu Qing and the captain then boarded the sixth peak with Lord Sixth. The enormous mountain rumbled once more, distorted the surrounding space, tore through the air, and teleported directly toward the Forbidden Sea. Its destination was the Starfish race.